Welcome into episode 177 of The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. I'm Ken Ray.
And I'm August Trometer.
If there is one thing that we can't seem to escape these days, it's talk of coronavirus. This thing that's making people physically ill is even finding its way into the digital world as well. We're looking at scams for which to watch out, as well as ways to keep your devices clean on this edition of The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. I've got stuff written down here, but can you say what you just said to me right before we started? Do you remember?
I don't.
I think it was something like, let's record a show about something terrible.
Okay.
I think that's what you said.
Okay. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, we're not actually... See, the thing is, we're not actually talking about coronavirus. I mean, I guess we kind of are a tiny bit, but we're talking around it in a way. In times of crisis, common sense can sometimes go right out the window. I mean, we want information. We want to help people. We want to stay safe. The big problem, though, is in good times or bad times, there are bad guys out there who want to take advantage. That is what they do.
Because they're bad guys.
Right, exactly. It's right there in the name. We are hitting one big topic today, coronavirus, but we're doing that by hitting a few subtopics. Some about staying safe online, and one about staying safe in the physical world. We'll start with a lot of websites, and let me just say I hate this story. There's a headline from the Next Web that says coronavirus domains are 50% more likely to infect your system with malware. Now, I'm reminded of, people in the 90s who thought that a computer virus could make you physically sick. Obviously, that's not what we're talking about.
Not at all. Research from the security firm Check Point has found that coronavirus-themed domains are 50% more likely to spread malicious activity than other domains. Since January, Check Point says there have been more than 4,000 coronavirus-themed domains registered. 3% of those were found to be malicious, and an additional 5% are shady and suspect. The Next Web says that's 50% higher than the malicious rate of all other domains registered in the same period.
It's sad. They actually referenced Valentine's domains, which makes me sad because, it's Valentine's Day. People are looking for love or something like it. And apparently bad guys will go out and register Valentine's Day themed domains to do the kind of stuff that they're doing with the coronavirus domains. Only worse in the coronavirus case.
You throw some hooks out there and you're going to catch some fish.
It's terrible. I'll tell you, I was both fascinated and disheartened reading through what some of these sites are up to. One of the examples listed by Check Point, phishing scams.
Oh, yeah. The fact is that many of these domains will be used for phishing attempts. Check Point already spotted a number of websites, including scam websites, that supposedly sell masks, vaccines, and home tests for coronavirus, none of which is helpful.
Right. It's not legit. Here's the thing. You're going to need to stay on top of this. And right now, as we record this, there is no home test. Right now, there are not enough tests for hospitals and doctors and things like that. The one thing that you will hear everybody say about this, and this is from tech CEOs to legislators to everybody, this situation is fluid. So a month from now, the whole testing thing might be different. But as we're talking right now, the masks that are being sold places are not going to help you. The home remedies are never going to help you. The test things are not going to help you. So anything that's saying, buy this to be safe, it is suspect at the very least, and probably just somebody trying to get either your information or your money, or hey, if they're lucky, both. So the phishing scams are a big deal. And then, of course, there's the dreaded, clicking a link in an email thing.
Check Point has word of a targeted campaign in Italy, which is one of the countries hit hardest so far. Scammers sent emails to a huge number of organizations in Italy, claiming to have information from the World Health Organization. The email strongly recommended that the recipient read a document attached to the email, but of course, that attachment contained malware.
Yeah. So it's funny, if you have a dark sense of humor, the World Health Organization has actually sent out actual emails about the fake email, which that's just a whole other, that's like Inception level. I don't know what's going on.
Well, somebody had to do that.
I guess maybe. And if you can't trust the World Health Organization about the fake World Health Organization. So a piece from Business Insider says security researchers have identified multiple phishing scams in which attackers pose as authorities like the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or the World Health Organization in emails, offering information about the virus in order to trick victims into downloading malicious software or handing over their login credentials, which is what we were talking about a moment ago. Well, it's one of the things we were talking about. What other kinds of scams are we seeing?
Well, first of all, you and I are kind of riffing and we're joking just a little bit. This is not a funny topic, but you have to have a little gallows humor, at least just to deal with it. So I'll get that out of the way. In response to your question, Trustwave Holdings identified a scam that says the virus has spread to your hometown. Then it asks people to enter their email for more information. Another scam does something similar, but with Microsoft Outlook credentials. And even Sophos, a security research firm, identified a scam that used a copy of the World Health Organization's website to try and harvest email passwords.
Now, not unlike the segment that we did a few weeks ago, the one that was, are you smarter than the average startup? The ways to stay safe, are ways that we've talked about. Well, this is episode 177. So the ways to stay safe are ways that we've talked about 176 times before.
I think you just discovered a new tongue twister.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Both the World Health Organization and Check Point have some really good tips. First of all, be smart about emails. Don't click on anything you're not expecting. Be especially cautious of downloads that ask you to take additional actions like, special permissions or privileges, and then check the sender's address. If they claim to be from the World Health Organization or the CDC, but have a T-Mobile email address, that's not from the CDC.
Right, yeah. And not to bag on T-Mobile, see also Sprint and Verizon and AOL.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And be smart about buying things. Don't buy things from companies you don't know and trust, especially now when there's so much fraud out there. And then be smart about the things you're buying. If you see a cure for coronavirus, it's definitely not real. There is no cure yet, and you wouldn't get the offer via email. That's something you go to your doctor to get. A bit of advice from the WHO: don't fall for something that says you have to act quickly. Scammers use a ton of tricks, including making something urgent. Don't give in to panic. Think twice, and if the information is public, you don't need your email or password to see it. And more advice from the WHO: if you did fall for something, if you've handed over sensitive information, change your passwords now. If you've accidentally fallen for a coronavirus scam, change your password. If you're reusing passwords across sites, then naughty, don't do that. You'll need to change those too. And while you're doing that, set up two-factor authentication for all of those sites.
And also, if you're looking for information, a site, set up in the last couple of months, probably isn't the best place to look. I mean, here's the one thing I will say. I think right now the CDC obviously has a coronavirus site that they've set up, but it's a subdomain of the CDC. It's not, coronavirusnow.com or something dumb like that.
Right. There are trusted news organizations out there, though even those are tough because they can be sensational. If you want reliable information, a great site to turn to is the site for the World Health Organization, WHO.int, and the INT means international. So go there, and that's where you're going to get the best information.
But again, be careful about how you get there.
Yeah, don't click an link in an email. If you type in the URL yourself, make sure you get it right. Watch out for lookalike domains. If you're not sure of a URL, search for it on DuckDuckGo or Google. Just make sure in doing that you're hitting the link for the actual site, not a sponsored site that's trying to pull you away and take you someplace that you don't want to be.
We'll talk about keeping your stuff clean in a moment, but first, a word about keeping your stuff clean with SecureMac. Macs are everywhere. People who years ago thought they weren't real computers or were overpriced toys now tote Macs and use them every day, trusting them with important work, with a lot of personal information. As the Mac has grown, so has its status as a target. Bad guys want to steal that information stored on them, but you can guard against that with MacScan 3. MacScan 3 is a great defense against malicious software attacks aimed at your Mac. It's developed by SecureMac, trusted names in computer security and developers of exceptional security software for over 20 years. MacScan 3 detects and removes Mac malware, catches keyloggers, removes tracking cookies, and provides full range or targeted scanning, all without crowding up your hard drive or slowing down your computer. Keep your Mac clean with MacScan 3 from SecureMac. Sign up for a free 30-day trial today at securemac.com/MacScan. That's MacScan 3 by SecureMac. Your 30-day free trial is waiting at securemac.com/MacScan. Speaking of keeping your machines clean, a sea change in advice on cleaning your Apple devices, courtesy of Apple. That's right, we are talking about physically cleaning your physical devices, which is, of course, where germs live. Apple Insider has run some pointers on cleaning your Apple Watch, your AirPods, your iPad, and your iPhone. Let's go quickly through the individual devices, then talk bigger picture stuff, starting with AirPods.
Well, basically Apple Insider offers a lot of don'ts here. Don't run them underwater. Don't get any liquid in any opening, and don't use sharp objects on them. For the AirPods themselves, Apple Insider recommends wiping each AirPod with a dry, lint-free lens cloth. As for the charging case, the same thing, but this time just slightly dampen the cloth with isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's because the cases don't live the same sheltered life as your AirPods. I mean, AirPods go, from the case to your ear to the case. Well, the case is in your pocket, in your hands, in your purse or satchel. It goes where germs are, which is, lots of places.
And the case isn't as delicate. You need to be careful with it, but not as careful as with the AirPods and AirPods Pro.
Okay. Let's do Apple Watch next.
Here again are suggestions from Apple Insider. Turn off the Apple Watch, remove it from any charger, and then wipe with a soft, dry, lint-free cloth. They don't suggest alcohol on this one, though a water-dampened one is fine. If your Apple Watch is water-resistant, which relatively recent models will be, you can put it under gently running water for a few seconds as part of the cleaning process. Also, clean the band separately. If you have a sport band, that's easy. Of course, you'll want to take special care with Apple's specialty bands.
Yeah, don't go soapy water on the Milanese loop. And really not with the Hermes leather strap band thing.
You know, I'm actually really surprised that Apple hasn't come out with cleaning instructions for some of their bands, because, you know, I have a collection of about a dozen different bands, and some of them have gotten grimy, and there's really no good way to clean them, at least, you know, in terms of what Apple is telling you, other than buy a new band.
Yeah, sport band, baby. That's it. Sport band right there. Just, you can go at that with spick and span and it's no problem. Don't really use spick and span on it, by the way. That's not true, but I have one leather watch band that I got off Amazon. It was inexpensive. It's been great. I've had it for like 4 years now. Got in the shower with it one time, and it didn't like that. So
well, it's leather.
Yeah, I know, right? So be very careful. It was an accident. I totally forgot that I, wasn't wearing one of my sport bands. But anyway, so I mentioned earlier a sea change in the way that Apple says you can take care of your stuff. The big change in how to clean your stuff hit the iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. It is suddenly fine to clean your machine with disinfecting wipes.
Like they instantly became waterproof or something.
Oh, the conspiracy theories. When this is all over, the conspiracy theory is going to be, see, you always could have done it. Yeah.
Exactly. Earlier this week, Apple updated its guidance for device cleaning. They now say users can use a 70% isopropyl alcohol wipe or a Clorox disinfecting wipe to, as they say, quote, gently wipe the hard, non-porous surfaces of your Apple product. Specifically, they're talking about the display, keyboard, or other external surfaces. And they say it's, according to Apple Insider, this is new guidance and was previously specifically forbidden to perform on screens because of the damage they could do to screens over time. Here's what specifically Apple says. Using a 70% isopropyl alcohol wipe or Clorox disinfecting wipes, you may wipe the hard, non-porous surfaces of your Apple product, such as display, keyboard, or other exterior surfaces. Don't use bleach. Avoid getting moisture in any opening, and don't submerge your Apple product in any cleaning agent. Don't use on fabric or leather surfaces.
And never feed it after midnight.
Bright light.
Yeah, there you go. Clorox disinfecting wipes, by the way, getting a shout out from Apple. That's a product placement. That's a place you never thought you would see a product placement. This isn't a warning from Apple. So what's funny is Apple Insider still hates this idea because long-term solvents like these will damage the oleophobic coating on an iPhone or iPad, and of course on the Mac. I said this was actually iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, but it is for the Mac as well, because they keep talking about the keyboard, and there's only one thing that Apple makes with a keyboard. Well, two if you count the keyboard. But I mean, the concern is that using these will strip the coating on a Retina display over a period of time. And boy, Apple Insider, it's almost like they hated posting that article because they just hate the idea so much.
Well, honestly, I hate the new guidance too, only because it goes against everything I've come to know. The fact is, keeping your hands clean is your best defense. Then get yourself a stock of dry, lint-free cloths. Power down your device. Wipe it with one of those cloths and keep moisture liquids out of openings. And for goodness sakes, don't use any product that uses compressed air from just air like they used to do keyboards to cleaning products.
So what if I've gotten a screen protector on my phone? Because we've talked about wipe it gently and do it occasionally. If I've got a screen protector, my screen is protected at that point, but it might still be Germany on this side. Germany, not Germany, by the way. It might still be Germany on this side. I mean, I'm fine then, right?
There's good and bad to that. The good, there's less worry about damaging a thing on the phone rather than the phone itself. The bad is not worrying about the screen might mean you're not as concerned about the rest of the device. So you let it get wet and get a little liberal with the solvents. Apple Insider says the better option is to regularly wipe the device with a dry, lint-free cloth. And obviously keep washing your hands. My personal take is if you've ever seen a NASCAR race and they have the cameras that are kind of, part of the car and they just strip off a piece of plastic when it's got gunk on it. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that on a phone or an iPad.
That'd be kind of cool. It'd be great if they didn't cost $25 each, though.
Right.
I mean,
right.
The thing you were talking about a minute ago, I mean, that's the real deal. I mean, keep your hands clean. I mean, that's the real thing, is keeping yourself as clean as you can.
Yeah. If you're working from home or, if no one is using or borrowing your stuff and you're not taking it anywhere, you may want to clean your devices some. I mean, I'm a screen freak, so I make sure my screen is clean. But really, you're the germy thing in that case, not your machines. If you work out of the house, though, in an office or whatever, or work in a situation where you share devices, that's probably when you need to look more closely at disinfecting your machines.
Hey, if you're looking for more security news and how-tos, the place to look is SecureMac.com/checklist. There you will find notes for this show, for the last show, for all the shows we've ever done, and you can listen to all of them right there as well. That all starts at one place, SecureMac.com/checklist. If you have a question you'd like to ask or a topic you would like to hear us hit, our email address is checklist@securemac.com. That address again is checklist@securemac.com. And if you can't remember that, please do remember this. You're listening to The Checklist, brought to you by SecureMac. And we'll talk to you next week.